Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Naxius, and it is Doom Mod Monday, the best day of the week. So welcome in, everyone. I know I was gone last week. I announced during, I think, my latter two streams the week before that I was taking vacation. Just took a week off of work, just hung out with the wife all week. She took vacation too. We sent the kids out of the house. Fuck them kids. And just try to relax as much as possible to try to recharge. Has been very, very exhausting. And I felt good. It felt good to take a break, especially after finishing Eviternity II, which was a hefty project. Obviously, nowhere near the most heftiest of ones I've completed, but it was a nice project that I finished up. So I figured we'll take a break, and then we'll hop back into Legacy of Rust. Legacy of Rust was what I intended to play after Eviternity 2. I did play it one day on a random Thursday because I was stressed out and wanted to just play my comfort game as opposed to Papers, Please, which was stressing me out at the time. So I have done one stream of Legacy of Rust. You can find that on the YouTube channel if you want to see how that was if you weren't here for it. So we're picking up, I believe, on map 4 of Legacy of Rust. So far, I know it's not completely vanilla Doom. I've run into new enemies, new weapon that I haven't figured out how to use or have the ammo for. But it's very vanilla feeling. I think is a good step back after the very custom WAD that was Eviternity 2. Let's just get back to some vanilla Doom. I just realized Sandy is trying to escape from my shelf. Get back there, Sandy. Actually, you know what, Sandy? You sit down there in the Peppa chair. I just realized the Peppa chair is in frame. Don't worry, we just took a break. I'm a little don't worry, we'll get back in the swing of things here in a second, guys. Don't even worry about it. All right, so with that, why don't we hop in? Or you know what? Why don't we just crash the fucking game? Also a good move to do. I just have no luck with this Doom 2 thing, and man, I tell you, finicky as shit this thing is. All right, let's try again. All right, we're here. All right, level 4. We got 4 secrets, 229 enemies. Shouldn't be too bad. Now, I am not pistol starting this, mostly because I just don't want to. But I also have heard that this is actually quite the brutal experience to try and pistol start this. Probably on par with like Hell Revealed, which was gross to pistol start. Okay. It wouldn't be a Doom level with boxes if I didn't immediately have to get up on top of the boxes, would it? That's just how Doom mods work. If you're not on top of the boxes, you're not doing it right. Hello, Loser Corner. How you doing? I see you're getting back into some stop motion. I love to see it. So, how was everybody while I was away? Is everything good? Did I miss anything important? Did the Doom community lose its shit somehow while I was gone? Not Jay. The name of the WAD is Legacy of Rust. Oh. Hello. Oh, I picked up a fuel can. A singular fuel can. Really good for the flamethrower I don't get to use. How you doing, Jay? How's things? Down there seems dangerous. You see, Jay, you would eventually have to play this watt as well. It is part of the Doom plus Doom 2 package on Steam and has achievements associated with it. So if you ever want to platinum Doom, you're gonna have to play this watt. Okay, that looks kind of secret-y. So, Bitefire, after my completion of Eviternity II, how did you enjoy the Eviternity II playthrough? Did I manage to live up to your expectations with my skill in that one? There was no skill. Pretty fluky, actually. Shut up, I'm looking at this waterfall. Or lava fall, whatever. Don't shoot at me when I'm busy doing this shit. I'm trying to admire the scenery. You don't get to admire scenery much in a Doom mod. There was, like, kind of skills. Oh, thank you, Bitefire. I'm sure you're just saying that because you're my mod, but... No. Kidding. No, I rather enjoyed Eviternity II. I was very pleased. I was just really pleased with how it looked aesthetically. So, it had problems, but I mean, what community project doesn't? You're gonna always have the quality dip up and down by multiple. I just completely fucking missed that shot. That wasn't even a conversation. That was completely fucked. Has coincident single segmented Occupluck yet? Has Occupluck been conquered while I was gone? Shut up. Although I think what I'm going to play after Legacy of Rust is, I have not tried a junk food, so I'm thinking we're gonna play junk. I just didn't even step on that. Okay, I think we're gonna try Junk Food 4 next. Not yet, but he's certainly determined. I have no doubt that that man is determined. Maybe a little too determined. I feel like you have to lack a certain level of self-respect to put yourself through that. Okay, why was that there now? What did I do different that suddenly showed up? I want to come up here and see if there was anything. You look kind of secrety. How do I get to you? Okay, well, it looks like that opens up somehow. Oh, okay. The welcome committee's here. I was just trying to sell Girl Scout cookies. Well, as Miyagi would say, it's up to you how much pizza you want to consume. There are maps in the JF series that are not meant for casual play. You've watched the stream, right? Clearly... While I enjoy me some casual play, I am the Doom community's punching bag, so... I will accept whatever punishment junk food tries to give me. I played Occupluck. I will always hold it over everybody's head. I played Occupluck and I didn't look up a guide for it. I just did it. I did that to myself. So you know what? I don't know what's in junk food. But I bet at the end of the day it's going to hurt me less than that. There is, of course, no actual guarantee to this, but... hi. Why is it tiny? Like, I'm not crazy, right? Like, that mastermind is tiny, right? What happened to you, bro? And how are you able to shoot me through the window like that? Okay. It appears that it's just visually shorter. But not physically shorter. What the fuck was that even? Like, look at the little baby. The true children of Spider Mama. Look how they massacred my boy. They made them minuscule. I could shoot over its head and hurt it, so... Mama Spider not passing off the best genetics. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit, what happened? I didn't do anything! I didn't pick anything up! This feels like a hate crime. I'm being the victim of a hate crime. I also appear to be unable to aim today. I don't know why. It's a real problem. No, I gotta readjust. Been playing, you know, Eviternity II, and now Doom 2 sensitivity is different. It keeps throwing me off. I have a lot of... Oop. They're really small babies now? But, I mean, like, why? Why baby mama? Why baby spider so small? Why so little? Did I just open that up? Oh no, you opened that up. Oh, that's just the way out again. Never mind. Okay, thought that was an elevator. Was incorrect. So, can I get out there, or I might have to go through the blue door to get out there. Why not? Why not? Because they made... Why do that? What was wrong with Spidey that they had to make him tiny? It's so little! Okay, but seriously, how do I get that ammo that's over here? How do I get that soul sphere? Even better question. So it looks like there's some sort of doorway there. I don't think I was meant to pick that up. I think I broke it. I can't go through the lava waterfall, which is just not realistic. I could go through that waterfall. Something caught fire. I see Big Demon Boy. Hello, Big Demon Boy. Oh, you were the one that started the fire. I didn't start it. In fact, there's oh shit. Okay. What is the range on that fire? I'm clearly not touching it. So what's the range? Okay, so guess what, guys? You can fall down in that corner and you can't get back out. You just shackle off this mortal coil and deal with the consequences. You just hit that one sweet spot and you just don't come back out. It just doesn't work. You can't come back. Just get completely stuck in there like a teenager's first time, you know? But like seriously, what is the range on that fire ball thing. Okay, it does some lasting damage. Probably does more overall damage than the plasma rifle due to the, I guess you would call it splash damage. I mean, like, I believe this does technically fall under the splash damage umbrella. I saw another baby spider. I think I need to go ahead and murder another child. I don't usually condone child murder, but, I mean, it shot first, so I will do this devoid of guilt. So, does this replace an enemy? Like, there's no spider masterminds now. There's just... You know... Just, spider stupid minds, you know? I had to be kosher with that joke and it came out bad. Really? You aim at the fucking imp? Wow. Wow, game. Wow. Why would you do me dirty like that? Now, I know intrinsically it is in fact a skill issue. I should know better than to aim like that. But I still feel like Doom Guy needs... Ah. What is that open, though? I feel like Doom Guy's got to take a little bit of responsibility. Can't even... Doom Guy, what are you doing? I mean, I guess I should kill these guys first, apparently. None of you guys saw that, okay? That was not me blowing my own face off. Doom Guy just has an astigmatism and couldn't aim properly, and accidents happen, you know. So, I found 3 secrets, and no doubt in my mind I found secrets back at the beginning. But I thought this was vanilla, so many new monsters. It's not vanilla. In the strictest sense of the word. What it definitely is a more vanilla feeling than Eviternity II. Right, like, it's not pure vanilla. It just, compared to a WAD where I fight an actual goddamn angel, have to slide down a conveyor belt while avoiding lasers, and fighting 7 different types of barons, you know. Meanwhile, with maps with the most custom graphics. Custom trigger types, everything. It was definitely not vanilla feeling. This, while not technically a vanilla map, is definitely more vanilla feeling. Did this door miraculously open? No. I mean, can we, like, logic this at all? Like, there's health bonuses right there. Now, I don't know if that's trying to... Fine, I'll just pick up the shells, whatever. Now, I don't know if that's trying to get me to look at anything in particular. Like, is there a switch in here I'm supposed to throw? Can I even get back to the beginning now that I think about it? Oh, that's what through here is supposed to do. Alright. Okay, I think that opened it. So that's actually not a secret. Alright, so I found all the secrets without a walkthrough. I am awesome. Ignore the fact that I've had to do it with every other level. That's neither here nor there. Now, do you just open? Perfect. No, that chain gunner walking on the pipes is definitely an OSHA violation. Those are not meant to support the weight of a fully grown man of generous mass. I mean, look at him. He's like Jeffrey Dinner over here, you know? Like... And he's walking around on the piping. I would love to know how the imps keep getting up on those cliffs. Why are they allowed up there? Okay, what did that open? Oh, I just... Okay. For some reason, that didn't strike me as an... The fuck is that? I don't know the official name for it. He seems to have a very bad case of gonorrhea, though. It just burns when he pees. Unfortunately, he's... Oh, fuck. He brought a friend. Didn't realize I was so low on ammo. Yeah, if you're asking what their actual official name is, I don't know. We will call it the Burning Pee-Pee Demon. Look, Jay, 100% items just for you. I totally would have gone back and gotten the missing item if I hadn't walked over it at the last second. Creeping hate. One more secret. Hey! I'll tell you where I can and cannot enter. Okay, but like, where the fuck are we? This is giving some E4 M2 vibes a little bit. One of them seems to be breathing a little differently than the other ones. Was that supposed to happen? Okay, I didn't need to do that weird strafe jump. I could have just jumped. Okay, these knockoff Lost Souls do, in fact, count toward the overall kill count. I had completely forgotten in the time since I last played this. Oh, never mind. Moving floors are a thing in this as well. Now, see, this is the kind of OSHA stuff we need to appreciate. Yes, you can walk on the conveyor, but they put some nice railings here to make sure you don't get carried off into the machinery. That's very polite of them. Jay will be happy to know I did a little bit more pathing prep with that. Hi. Trying to get a speed run on Dad's neighbor waht. I was doing some more like test runs, so I haven't given up yet. I am actively working on trying to put together a world record speed run. I'm having a little bit of problems with the last little bit of the level, trying to get that done quickly. And the biggest problem with one of Dad's maps is there's a lot of RNG that can make or break a run. Because the maps are so big and have so many enemies, it's hard to... It's really hard to ensure that... Oh, fuck. It's really hard to control the actions of the enemies, and sometimes like a Starboard Demon will wander somewhere I don't want it to go. So that's my biggest problem, is how can I control the RNG a little bit better? Although I do think the like opening section of the level I have pretty down pat. You get to play test something soon? No. I'm speedrunning Dad's neighbor waht is what I'm saying. And I've got the beginning part of the level kind of down pat. It's the end I'm trying to figure out how to do properly. And while technically there is already a world record speed run I could be watching to get what they did for pathing, I'm trying to do this one on my own. Because it's Dad's level, I feel like I owe him that. to really put my all into the. When was the record set? I actually don't know. Does it say when the record was set? I will say nobody's even tried to take my arena world record. Yeah, I don't know if it actually says when it was set. The demo file was 2022, so it was set 3 years ago. Did they find out my YouTube? I have no idea, actually. Jay, are you seeing the best viewers that I can purchase for real money? That will certainly help me in the long run. Somehow. Ben Hammer. Okay, that was open when I came down a second ago, and now I don't know what I did to open it. Seriously, what the fuck did I do to open it? If this is one of those stupid, oh, you need to... You only open if you don't open it the first time you get it. I don't know if I can go back far enough. Wait, I saw that. There we go. Looks like I know I saw something somewhere. Which means I accidentally shot that switch earlier and didn't even know I did it. But yeah, as to whether or not they found the WAD from my YouTube, I have no idea. Memento Mori flashbacks? No, if it was Memento Mori, we would have shot it and then had no... We would have known we shot it, but had no idea what the fuck it did. And then we'd spend half an hour running around the map trying to figure out what the hell we just did. As, of course, assuming we even found the switch to begin with. I gotta play Hexen 2. Here's the counterpoint. No, I don't. You're telling me to play it. You're telling me to play it because it's frustrating. And you find it funny. Dude, if you tell me to play Hexen 2, I might just refund your points. You're like, nope. Can't do it. I can't. I cannot. Speaking of Papers, Please, where did that guy go? I'll tell you something, though. Off stream, I platinumed it. Oh, hello. And actually, it turns out when I am not having to pay attention to the chat, I'm actually pretty good at Papers, Please. It's not as bad as Daikatana. What isn't? Hexen? I mean, it's probably a lot less buggy. %. Hexen is a decent game with a guide. I would probably not be using a guide for my first ever run of Hexen. So you're telling me I would have a bad time? I got Legend of Zelda without a guide. Okay, but like, why though? I still don't understand how you were meant to find the last castle. I mean, if we're being honest, Jay, any sort of old school fantasy RPG without a guide is just a nightmare. Elder Scrolls 1 without a guide, nightmare. Well, Japanese characters take up a lot less space than English ones, so when they did the translation, not as much room. That is a different color wall. That should be a secret. So instead, get the power. Nintendo power. I think that was a scheme to sell Nintendo powers, you know? It was all a conspiracy to sell Nintendo Power magazines. Nintendo Power was the shit, though, man. So here's a question you were thinking about? Alright. What have you got for me? Lay down your question. I will answer, maybe, sort of, possibly, if I actually know what I'm talking about. I feel like if I couldn't kill the monsters beforehand, that wall lowering would have... When today's kids look at Ocarina the way we look at Zelda 1, like they wouldn't be able to find anything. Yes and no. Ocarina of Time, at least on some level, tries to guide the player. Like, you can't do the first dungeon unless you know, pick up a sword and a shield. And there's signs everywhere telling you how the game works. And then even when you do leave for the first time, the owl tries to give you a hint on where to go. And Navi is trying to tell you, like, hey, we should check out this place. And whether or not they'd be able to fully follow the directions, because they were still vague by today's standards, I don't feel like there was anything... Well, that feels like a waste to pick up now. I don't feel like there was anything that was, like, super hidden that you needed to get, I should say, right? Like, there's hidden stuff all over the place and collectibles and heart pieces that they probably wouldn't be able to find. But I mean, like, at the same time, if we were honest with ourselves, if we didn't have Nintendo power, would we have figured out how to get the Goron sword? Right? Zelda 1, I think the problem with Zelda 1, like a lot of old school open world fantasy games, is that it didn't give you direction, really. Or at least from my vague recollection of Legend of Zelda, it didn't give much in the way of direction. I didn't get the Goron sword and had maybe 13 hearts. Yeah, exactly. So... Ow. So it's not like we were highly enlightened. But no, I think Ocarina did enough to kind of guide the player. But we always did a second playthrough. Well, the one thing that I have said is, like, I tried playing, like for Christmas, what my wife had got me, I didn't find Shadow, but you did? Yeah, but I'd heard, there was, like, I feel like I heard something about how to get Shadow secondhand. Don't ask me where, I don't remember. You were on the right track with Shadow, though. You just didn't realize that on the floating island you were supposed to wait for him. But anyway, what was I saying? For Christmas, my wife got me one of those things you plug into the TV, and there's a whole bunch of old games on it. It's, I'm sure, an illegal piece of hardware, but whatever. And it's got a lot of, like, old games, like Iron Tank. It has Iron Tank. It has the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games. It has, Let There Be Carnage and Streets of Rage and the Batman Returns Super Nintendo game. Like, it's got a whole bunch of those old games and ones that you can get Iron Tank on Steam. So, you know, I brought up a few of those games. Games that I remember, like, you know, being halfway decent at, and I've quickly realized I suck at them. Now, I have no doubt that I would figure it out, but you see, the thing was, when we were younger, we always used to do second, third, fourth, fifth playthroughs. But we also didn't care about dying as much because we were going to stick with a game for as long as it took to complete it. Because we weren't getting any new games for another several months. You and I got 2 video games a year. One for our birthday and one for Christmas. 2 video games a year. So, right? Unless we got lucky with something else. Like someone else gifted us one, or Dad bought one for himself that we were able to play. So we get 2 games a year, so you better believe that we were going to make that last as long as humanly fucking possible. How do I get that armor? So I think the biggest problem that we would have now, though, is like where video games are so accessible, and everyone's like looking, like, at least even for me when I'm trying to play, like, you know, a single player game. He got FF as a gift for Christmas, right? Starting his journey. I don't remember where he got the original fucking Final Fantasy. But that certainly started his journey, didn't it? Oh, that's the elevator in there. How do I get you? How do I get you? Something on the other side. But the point being now is, like, for me, it's like if I get a game that's way too hard or too annoying or wastes my time in a lot of ways, I do not have the same level of patience as I used to have. There we go. And where I have so many games in my backlog that I want to get to, having a game that I have to play hours upon hours upon hours upon hours to even get to the end because the game was made too hard or doesn't give you good direction, I just lose interest. And I feel like today's kids would be like that, trying to play Ocarina of Time for the first time. If they're unable to figure out exactly what it is they're supposed to do, they'll probably just give up. There are other games to play. Games that don't have the fucking water temple in them, you know? One of the most universally hated dungeons in video game history. But I mean, I feel that you actually won't like the water temple. Well, you see, we've already established that you're odd with your tastes, so... but no, fuck you. And the rest of the community, the water temple is a painful experience. All right. But I mean, I do wonder sometimes, like, if you tried to show a Gen Z the game Myst, would they enjoy Myst? Would they play Myst? There's a lot of mouths in here. The grocery bill in this economy is insane. They can't afford to feed all these mouths. See if Holly will like Myst. She finished room 1 to 3. Well, I would argue that the rooms 1 to 3 are an easier solve than Myst. Get her VR Myst. I just love Myst for that. Like, people talk about, man, they just keep re-releasing Skyrim. Myst be like, hold my beer. How many times has Myst been re-released? Myst masterpiece. Real Myst masterpiece. VR Myst. We kind of worked together on Myst. We did. I did Riven before you. What have you involuntarily signed up for? Jay, as perhaps as an experiment more than anything else, will try to get you to play the video game Myst. Myst, I would argue, is if you are not a gamer, Myst, you don't have to be a gamer to play Myst. And where you did complete rooms 1 to 3, and Myst is a puzzle game in the same vein, but with like actual like worlds to explore and lore. Because I wanted to write out my journal entries in the game journal that came in the anniversary collection. Yes, you did. No signs of being on the spectrum there. Well, again, I do argue when it came to doing that. On some level, I thought it was a fun idea as well. I don't think I would have had the work ethic for it. But, again, where we only got so many video games a year, I feel like we did what we could to expand the fun we could have with the game, you know? Oh, that's a for realsy spider. Wanted to be immersed? Well, you know, like, we laugh, but exactly. Actually. And given the game Myst is full of journals, we just wanted to be like the people in the game. It would be lore accurate to write a journal. Oh, fuck. If you were exploring the game Myst, you know, in real life. Then you finish the game and it was like explore Channelwood for funsies. I do understand why they did that, but I mean, it's a weak ending in a lot of ways, you know. I fully die on the hill that Riven was an overall better game. I will die on that hill. Hot take. Riven was a better game than Myst. Fuck that. Final puzzle, no. Technically, the final puzzle does give you... The shit? Does give you everything you need to solve it, and we were just... too young and dumb to figure it out, I think. We were unable to put the pieces together the way that it needed to be done. Because, again, I've watched playthroughs of Riven since, and while it is definitely one of the puzzles that kind of gives people pause, I've watched people solve it with a lot more ease than we did. So I think on some level it was a skill issue on our part. There's still one of you in here. No, but I've always argued that Myst was a better game, or Riven was a better game than Myst, simply because Riven, I feel can't talk. Riven, I feel, built a better world than anything Myst did. Okay. You are not Romero eyeballs. Okay, I didn't figure out how to get that. The world itself of Riven had so much lore built into the environments, and the puzzles were properly, I feel, built into the environments. In a way that Myst wasn't. One, we were like 10. Yes, we were. We were, in fact, 10. That is 100% the truth. I'm trying to, like... I'm trying to see, like, is there one of these teleporters, like, on the ground just brings me to that, armor? Escape rooms are based on the puzzles in Riven, and everyone has practice with those concepts. We didn't have a baseline. No, we did not. We did not have a baseline. But that's why I think Riven was a better game, was the puzzles were built into the environment. There wasn't much in the way of incidental puzzles, except, again, maybe for the... Except maybe, again, for the last puzzle could be considered an incidental puzzle. Even though, again, on some level, it was built into the game. Environment. You didn't think Myst was built into the environment? Well, yes and no. So, when you look at the entirety of Myst Island, like Myst Island itself, try figuring out why the room puzzles were in the room. I still don't know why the room puzzles were in the room. I feel like that's the last secret, but I don't know how to get it. Let's just see. Oh. Well, there you go. It was the last puzzle. I just didn't realize there was a hidden staircase there. Mist Island itself is not a cohesive thing. And I think we both intrinsically know that by looking at Mist Island. Mist Island is a hodgepodge of shit. There's a ship, a rocket ship, an infinitely growing tree, a clock in the middle of the fucking ocean, random gears. Like, they don't serve a purpose in the world. Atris is an insane inventor. The rocket ship doesn't do anything, though. It doesn't go anywhere. The giant gears, like, so all this stuff that's on the island is literally just built to hide his books. That's, he built a rocket into the island just to hide a book in it. Because it doesn't do anything else. Right? The chair that you get in to look at the constellations, while in one sense cool, it's like, you built that on the island for what purpose? For inventions he can build into other worlds? But again, it makes Mist Island a hodgepodge. And then, now, granted, something like Channelwood, the Coiled City, Channelwood was a good, 12 secrets, oh, fuck me. This map, also, secret map. There's a secret level. Is there a secret level? A secret level, yes. If so, what map is the secret level on? He hid them, remember? Yeah, I know he hid them, but he hid them, but was the gear, for example, where he hid one of the books, was that on the island before he hid them? Because I get the impression that it was. Okay, this is... Actually, this kind of reminds me of Eviternity II, the way Eviternity II is built. You get a sort of like whole open world view of something. This is really cool. Oh, that was accessible for me in 1M2, I believe. Did I play the secret level? I don't even know if I did. I'll see. I got all the secrets, though, so... Hang on. Does Doom 2 have... Just using the level selector. Now I don't remember if I played it or not on my first stream. Ashmill? Oh, yes, I did play this. I did play it. Okay. Never mind. It was too long ago. I couldn't remember. Sure, because he built the test gear on Mist and then worked out the kinks and then he rebuilt that concept in the world. Did he, though? No, but what I mean by built into the world is, like, Channelwood, for example, was built into the world. The only puzzle to Channelwood was figuring out how the water flow worked. So there's a bit of a gimmick with E1M6. The only enemies are custom enemies and combat centers around the incinerator. I'm okay with that. I can deal with the incinerator. This hurts, though, I take it. Yes, it does. Riven is an age, therefore think of it as a large channel wood. Well, that's why I liked it so much. Because it was a large channel wood. Right. Like, I feel... Like, for example, the rocket world. Sure, you might say, oh, the big tunnel system was built into the world. Technically, he didn't build it, and there were no people in the age. So he wrote it in there. So it's like built into the world, but it definitely feels like an incidental puzzle as opposed to, oh, I got dropped in an alien world and I just don't know how anything in here works. I don't know if that makes sense, but, you know, that's how I view it. I do like the joke of, like, Cyan games are just, you get dropped in a place that really should put labels on their shit. Because if it did, it would make life a lot easier. But what also gets with Riven is if you understand Riven, there's so much more life to the game in the sense of Riven as an island has people on it and therefore has a culture. Whereas the whole thing with the Mist Islands is even if a few of them were occupied, at one point, there are no people, and with it, not a lot of culture, right? You can read about the culture in the journals. Yeah, I can read about the culture. It's one of those tell, don't show type deals, is it? But it's kind of like, you know... Oh, shit. That's not even the weapon I meant to pull out. But I mean, like, you get to the gear age, right? The mechanical age. Like, there's stories about, in the journals about there being pirates and shit in that age. But you never actually see any pirates or any evidence of pirates. You only know because the journal tells you that at one point there was pirates. But with something like Riven, we know the whole thing is like, oh, Gen considers himself a god. This is what we do with budgets. But like with Riven, it's like, you know, Gen considers himself a god amongst the people on Riven, in the world of Riven. But they don't just tell you that, they show you that. Because there's numerous There's numerous spots in the Riven world where you can see Gen flaunting his power. Right? You can see him flaunt his power in the rotating room that has, like, all these, like, you know, stained glass stories about him. And how he has a gallows where he hangs people, but there's a chair where he sits that he can do the execution from with levers high above the people. He created a contraption that allows him to appear as a floating head inside of a cage, where inside of a temple, so he could look down on subjects. Right? Like, there's... The world has so much to explore and discover that I feel like it has way more... It just has more to it than Myst ever could have. Now, I will be the first to admit that when it comes to a sequel like Riven, obviously, Riven doesn't exist without Myst. Right? And that's an obvious thing that I do understand. Myst walks so Riven could run. Did I play the Riven remake? No. I do intend to at some point. But at this exact moment, no, I have not yet. Okay, if battle is meant to be done with the incinerator, this is bullshit. Firmament I haven't played yet. Abduction was okay. Again, I did enjoy Abduction for the same reasons I enjoyed a lot of Cyan's work. Right? There was... You felt that you were walking into a world that had people in it, that had customs, that had a society, that had a hierarchy, etc., etc. And there were journals you could find that could explain the lore very well and establish a lot of the backstory with you. But Abduction is, again, one of those games you don't play as a streamer, I don't think. Because, like, I watched Day 9, actually, he played Abduction on stream. And because he's streaming, he feels like he shouldn't read the journals. Because it takes up too much time to read the journals. But because he never read the journals, he did miss out on some, you know, half-important plot details to understand what was going on. And then he and his co-hosts argue that, oh, maybe a game shouldn't have you do optional reading to fully understand. Shouldn't, like, everything I need to know be built into the world itself. Which, I mean, you could possibly argue, but the problem isn't that you had to do reading, obviously. But they have to look at it from another perspective than the average gamer does. Because I do think there was a lot that was built into the world enough that you could kind of understand what was going on without reading the numerous journals lying around. But that's the downside of of being a streamer sometimes, you know? The way you play a game when you're streaming is definitely different than how you would play a game on your own time. And a puzzle game is a prime example of that. Because when you're playing a puzzle game or playing a game on stream, you're always thinking about, okay, I don't want like dead air in my stream, so playing a puzzle game seems like a bad idea. Kind of deal, you know? And then sometimes you can't explain the full game, the full story in the game, and you need the journals. And I agree with that, right? And I think, like, again, I do believe if they weren't streaming the game, they wouldn't care. Right? Because, I mean, like, remember, Loser Corner, when I was playing Doom Eternal on stream, I was reading all the codex entries, trying to understand the story and lore of the Doomslayer. And it even started irritating you. You were like, you know, you don't have to read all the lore, right? And I was like, yeah, I know I don't have to. But I want to. I want to absorb the lore that is Doom, you know? But again, people might get all the hot lore. I mean, Doom Eternal actually had hot lore. Way more lore than any of the other Doom games had. I'm lost and have no idea where I am. And to rub it in, the map is not telling me where I am. I am in nothing. See, that's a me problem, though, because I don't normally read the lore. Well, I would argue that it is a you problem, but I'm being teleported around. But when you're streaming, that is still something that's going to be in the back of your head when you're streaming is, like, if I want to read these journals because I care about the lore, is it fun for the players watching me read the lore? You know? Like, the game Mass Effect has a huge codex that goes through the history, like a brief history and or a more detailed history, depending, on every alien race, every major sort of, every major lore event. It's narrated, and like there's a lot of information about the history, and then there's other codex entries, not voice acted, but you can dive even deeper into details of alien physiology, how they mate, how long they live, how their societies works, what's their leadership structure, and you can just read all of that. And I actually feel that it's necessary reading to fully appreciate things that happen in the series. Fuck. Now, you can understand the game pretty decently without it, but I feel like you can't fully appreciate it without reading the codex. But if I was on stream, In no way, shape, or form would I be reading all those codexes. I read them all on my own time when I played it for the first time. But I wouldn't read that if I was on stream, and I feel like I would have missed something. Because, again, if I sit there and just go, okay, guys, I'm going to sit here and listen to this, essentially podcast. I'm going to listen to this podcast on stream. You sit there and just listen to me listen to this podcast. And I think that's one of the struggles with streaming that is hard for people to fully understand and fully appreciate, is just you can't just play a game. You have to think fully and completely about how you're going to play a game. What methods are you going to use? Because, of course, like, I'm a completionist in a lot of ways, right? So when I play a video game, I want to explore every nook and cranny. I read everything. Did every side quest, every secret, everything. 40 hours game light. Probably 60 hours real time. And then it was like, here's hard mode and then extreme mode. So fuck that. Don't worry. Mass Effect Legacy Edition doesn't have that problem. You can unlock the hardest difficulty right from the get-go. You were so pissed. Which is funny, because the game didn't have, like, Steam achievements or anything, so I wasn't sure if you would really care about that. But anyway. But yeah, like, if I was streaming it, I wouldn't be reading those codexes, and I wouldn't necessarily be doing all the side quests either, depending on... Or at least not, maybe not for the original Mass Effect, because the original Mass Effect side quests sucked. And were repetitive as shit. Which Mass Effect 2 and 3 really tried to fix. I have no idea what that did. But the fucking rover was as controlled as my asshole after Taco Bell. The Mako is a universally hated vehicle and did not really make a reappearance in the rest of the series. There was, in the second game, a DLC that had missions where you drove a different vehicle, and everybody fucking hated that too. I guess that's true. There were in-game achievements, weren't there? Well, Cyan is still alive. And crowdfunds all its games. So it gets to avoid a lot of the forced pitfalls places like BioWare run into. Thankfully. However, I haven't played Firmament yet, so I don't know if it was good that it was a crowdfunding game or not. I remember that they laid off everything for a couple of months, but then rehired everyone back. Cyan did. I don't remember. Or are you saying like BioWare did that? I got 4 of 12 secrets. I'm really, and I'm lost as shit. Please get the screaming faces out of here. Jesus, the noise they make. Yeah, who are you saying did a bunch of layoffs? Also, I can't honestly remember me complaining about you reading it, but it does feel like something a me thing I would do. It was like really late into the game. Yeah, I feel like it was like really late into the playthrough. Shit. That you complained about me reading it. And again, I don't even know if I would call it a complaint. You were just kind of like pointing out, you don't have to read the lore. But again, see, as a viewer, I can understand in a lot of ways, like, oh, you really want me to get to a certain part. Maybe there's a really cool boss coming up. And I'm just sitting there reading a book instead. Like, I can understand the frustration, right? Cyan 2010. Well, I believe it did lay everybody off, but I think if I remember, and don't quote me on this because I probably don't. They did lay everybody off, but then eventually decided that, we could go the crowdfunding route and keep everybody there. So it's near the end. You see now, you can see yourself doing that. Yeah, so if you were like really excited for me to if you were really excited for me to face the Icon of Sin, for example, you might have been like, would you stop reading the shit and just go fight the Icon of Sin or something, right? Like, stop reading. And again, as a viewer, I can understand that frustration. But then, what that does do is it forces me as a streamer to kind of play a game differently from how I would play it in person. Which, especially if it's your first time playing a game and doing a blind playthrough, kind of sucks. That's why I hate the thought of playing a game on stream that has any sort of collectibles in it. And we all crowdfunded happily. Well, we would have, because, Cyan is amazing. And Cyan is still the only company I think that really does. Oh shit. Fuck, I didn't save. And I think Cyan is, like, still, like, one of the few companies that actually does that kind of game, you know? Or at the very least, does it well. So I would happily crowdfund them. But at the same time, as much as we might say, oh, maybe every game company should crowdfund, you know, instead of doing, you know, being publicly traded or whatnot. But we've seen people get ripped off with crowdfunding as well, so there is no right answer. Did I just hear an arch file? I have, like, no health left. I was about to say, like, I have no health left. Okay. Okay, well, I'm certainly in a better position this time around than I was last time. The right answer is you do your best, always. Always do your bestest. Well, it is about that time, so we're going to be finishing up there this evening. I will be back on Thursday and Friday to continue playing Still Wakes the Deep. So if you're interested in watching me play some more horror, you go right ahead and pop right in. But if you're only interested in Doom, I'll be back next week with more Legacy of Rust, picking up where we've left off with this level. It's a bummer, you know, finishing only partway through, but what are you going to do? So yeah, I want to thank everybody who came in and hung out with me on my first day back from vacation. So thanks, Bitefire, Jay, Loser Corner, Holly. I do believe Evie was actually in the chat, but he might have just been lurking. Anybody else who's popped in and out, I see you and appreciate you. But with that, you all have a fantastic evening, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. Good night. As much as a flamethrower feels like a badass weapon for Doom Guy to have, it's rather impractical compared to the plasma rifle, so I feel like we've stepped down a little bit here.